where were we? My little bookmark fell out, so we are at the power of habit. So yes, we just did the self-confidence formula. Did you all write it out? Did you all write it out? Maybe.
Yes,
so, okay,
I wrote
good.
it out.
Good. How'd that make you feel?
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Either.
Part of it was, do I believe this? Oh, okay, I'm glad to see Diane nodding her head.
So then you got to ask who wrote it out. Oh, I have this conversation. Michelle and I was just launched a podcast that's not this week, not tomorrow. It's next week's one, a manifestation, and she told some personal truths about some of the things we've gone through for herself that I was surprised. And it was about how we manifest and how we do things. Because you'll hear in the podcast where she says she was manifesting in fear. And it took a decade. So when we write these things down, when we do these success formulas, if we write them down in doubt, guess what the vibration is when we go to read it? This is what I believe is as close as we can describe the Wallace D. Wattles. It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing those things in a certain way.
But
because if we go ahead.
Sorry, what about when you write it and you feel that it's a challenge?
So stop. And who's the one that feels it's a challenge? So Diane, do you know your queen?
Yeah.
Okay. So call on her right now. You don't have to say it out loud or anything. Just I want you to call on your queen. And let me know when you've brought her to the center stage.
Okay.
Fully embodied. So if you look at this page, the self-confidence formula, what does she say about it?
She feels so I could do it.
Okay. Does she feel she could do it?
She can embody it, yes.
Okay. So can you ask her to transfer that energy, that knowledge, that experience, that vibration to you? With a laying on of the hands, a flick in the ear, whatever it is. Now ask her the question, who do I become? This is you asking her, who do I become when I believe this? What's her response?
Person I want to be.
And if you become that person you want to be sooner rather than later, what changes?
Well, it would change my life as I know it.
Okay. So ask her, what skill or talent do you need to prepare to change your life as you know it? What resources do you need that you have access to? Do you need to begin to engage in? What do you need to say no to?
Well, to have the belief and confidence.
So who is holding that belief and confidence hostage right now? What version of you? Is it the gremlin version? Is it who's holding it hostage?
A warrior.
So the warrior. So why is the warrior afraid? Because the warrior, when it reads this, does ask the warrior, is it because you don't see a fight?
Mm.
You don't see a struggle? This is a formula. This is a math formula. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. All these together equal a life you've not attained yet. There's no fight. It's a formula. What happens if you're not fighting? You can ask your warrior.
Well, it seems too easy.
Okay. And when's the last time something seemed too easy in your life?
It's been a while.
So would it be fair to say that you're also using the adage, if it's too good to be true, it must be? So is it okay if it's easy, yet it's difficult. It requires a tremendous amount of discipline. Can the warrior be the warrior of discipline instead of fight?
Yes.
Can the warrior run into the barracks at 04:30 and, you scumbags, get up and get out and get into your skid, right? No fight, just accountability. Ask your warrior if it's okay if they become your accountability partner.
Yes.
So now go back to asking the queen, if I do this and you transfer the energy that you know for me to be able to do this, who do I become?
I become that confident person.
So what does the magician and the lover say?
They're cheering now.
Okay, what's the warrior say?
He'll be my accountability.
Okay. Now, there's other things that the warrior may still have to fight, but it's not to fight you. It might be to help you fight procrastination, to fight doubt, to overcome fear. So now what does your body feel?
Sorry.
Now what does your body feel? How does your body feel?
I'm more relaxed now.
Okay. So do you have the document that you wrote? Is it near you, or is it?
Yep.
Okay. So do you have a pen that goes in and out? Click, click, right? Click, click. Do you have a pen like that?
No, I have to roll it.
Okay,
But
so get the pen so that there's the point is not sticking out, so it won't write on any.
Okay.
Now trace, because you'll trace and you'll, however you write in print or cap or whatever it is, start writing over that now and watch your body. Just start tracing it as if you were writing it. Does the resistance show up? Is confidence kind of there?
It's flowing.
Okay. So this is all of a shift of writing it from confidence. You still don't know what to do. You still don't have strategy. But won't strategy appear once the state is established?
Mm-hmm.
If your goal is to stay in state, so if your goal is to, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose. Yeah, you don't have to have your definite purpose written out in 17 pages. Between now and the end of the year, do you have a definite purpose, something you want to work towards?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than when you write the word definite purpose, because I bet in the past you said, well, I'm not even sure if mine's clear. I don't know, right? Your brain went off on a tangent.
Yeah.
So what you might do in the margins is where it says, as you get to the line definite purpose, draw an arrow out to the margins and write what the purpose is. And then it goes on to say, therefore, I demand of myself persistent, aggressive, and continuous action toward its attainment. From where you're sitting right now, which side of you, left or right, would the warrior be standing? So turn that way, and repeat these words after me, just looking at the warrior. Therefore, I determine of myself persistent, aggressive and continuous action toward its attainment. That's your job, warrior.
That's your job, warrior.
It even used the word aggressive. You need the warrior. Say, I need you. I mean, you can be doing this all in your head and say, you thought you were going to lose your space. I need you, warrior. It says right there in the first thing, aggressive. I'm not aggressive. Look at me. I'm a grandma. But my warrior can kick your butt. Do you feel the energy shifting? Because you can still be the sweet, amazing, incredible Diane. And yet you've got this little fire burning inside of you called your warrior that says, wait a minute, you mean I'm allowed to get aggressive? Yeah. Persistent, aggressive, and continuous action towards its attainment. So you thought the fight was going to take the wind out of you? This journey towards attainment of this goal by the end of the year is going to exhaust you, warrior. So you better get some sleep tonight, because tomorrow we ride. Feels different, doesn't it? Feels almost intimidating, because now the warrior is going to remind you regularly, hey, listen, persistent, consistent, aggressive, that's me. Persistent, consistent, aggressive, that's me.
But it's a different.
Yeah, it's a get the job done. It's starting the walk for the cure for cancer. It's this thing that it'll exhaust you, but it'll never be work. Isn't that something?
Posture. Thank you.
I realize that dominating thoughts of my mind equally reproduce themselves in outward bodily action and gradually transform them into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my mind for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to be by creating a mental picture of the person and then transforming that picture into reality and service. That's one sentence. Which archetype do you think would really love to be able to help you take some time and you fall in love with your future image? Who do you think would love to do that? The lover, right?
Yeah.
So now imagine if you allowed the lover to read that. Say, I'm going to read this to you, lover, and you get to remind me of this regularly. And warrior, you get to remind the lover, because this is the aggressive. I need to be aggressively taking 30 minutes for myself. You know that recipe that grandma has that nobody knows how to duplicate? It's the certain way.
Yes.
Right? This is doing it. We're now at it. We're now making, because somebody else will read this and go, I don't get it. Oh, wait a minute. The first one's aggressive. You got to use your warrior. And then the second one is your lover. And the lover will listen to your warrior. And the lover will love the warrior for holding you aggressively consistent and persistent. See the value in the archetypes? I know that through the principle of autosuggestion. What magical thing is autosuggestion? Who do you think might do that? the magician.
Yes.
Right? The magician, auto-suggestion. Boop, it's going to hypnotize you. Imagine the magician coming up and hypnotizing you into auto-suggesting, saying the things that, right? Auto-suggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of realizing it. Therefore, I shall devote 10 minutes to demanding of myself the development of factors named in the 16 lessons of the reading course of the Law of Success.
Mm-hmm.
So can the warrior aggressively, lovingly encourage you to take 10 minutes to auto-suggest to yourself?
For sure.
Do you see how this formula is all of a sudden, it's almost ridiculous if you don't use it?
It makes so much sense.
Right? You see the power that's in it right now?
Yeah.
Because, and here's the thing, Diane. The you that wrote is the one that wanted to achieve. The you that wrote is the one that wants to achieve. The one that was writing and reading was not you, the one who wrote. You now have engaged the archetypes
Mm-hmm.
to you are the one who wrote. You are also the one who is manifesting, leading, being deliberate, and encountering your own future self. And you now believe it's possible. Because you don't need the strategy just yet. These are the strategies. Do
Mm-hmm.
these strategies in state, they will produce more strategies. These are the little bunnies that when you read them together, do what bunnies do and create more little bunnies, more little ideas, more little thoughts.
Yes, and faith and belief are the two words that just popped.
So there you go. So believe you can do 30 minutes and have faith you will do the 10. I have clearly mapped out and written down a description of my definite purpose in life for the coming 5 years. And I set that price. I have set a price for my services for each of the 5 years, a price I intend to earn and receive through strict application and of the principle of efficient, satisfactory service, which I will render in advance. There's a phrase that people use in the Bible going, you are building mansions in heaven. Well, I ain't want to living on the streets right now. So, got to make them both work. So now the 5 years, write it out. Make one of your 30 minutes writing out the 5-year plan. And maybe it takes a week to write it out. Would that be a horrible thing to spend 3 hours writing out your definite major purpose for the next 5 years? And then what happens is when you do the auto-suggestion, you'll be able to tweak. What does Napoleon Hill say in Think and Grow Rich? And what do they say here? Begin immediately, if not sooner. And then you can adjust. I really need to get to Heather's place so that she can fix me. But if I just keep talking about it, sitting here and never get in the car and drive and let GPS go, oh, rerouting. The hell, did I miss a turn? Rerouting. Too many of us don't even get to rerouting because we never leave start. Which is our fear of perfection. And perfection is the highest form of procrastination. So what do you feel? What do you hear? What do you get now, Diane?
I get it can be done.
Okay.
And
bigger
I have a
question.
warrior behind me and a lover and magician and my queen is just nodding her head.
So I'll ask the question, can it be done by you? Because it can be done was the answer. That didn't include you.
Yes.
Say it can be done by me.
It can be done by me.
Feel the difference?
Mhm.
Because it can be done as, yeah, of course it can be done. There's people doing it all the time, but I'm just not good enough. That was the old story sneaking it.
Mhm.
It can be done by me. Of course it can be done by me. Now that I know the warrior and everybody's there, and they're all giggling, they're all looking at each other. I mean, I can see them. They're all looking at each other going, finally, good Lord. This island girl, for God's sake, we got to get her going.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, welcome, welcome. Heather, how did that feel for you?
It felt good. It really did. Calling in those archetypes and remembering that I can ask for their help is huge.
And you get to ask them the question, am I asking the best question? Ask any one of your archetypes. Am I asking you the best questions? And what's the response?
Do you want me to answer that?
Sure, if you want to. What do they say?
Sometimes.
What I heard is they're great questions to stay where you're at. Then it's important to ask the next question. Can you help me craft questions that'll help me get to where I want to go? And that, don't be surprised if you feel like an electric, somebody just plugged you into the wall. Is it okay if I ask question? Can you help me craft questions to get me to where I want to go? They may ask, are you clear where you want to go? Do we need to, we might need to define that. Because you said you wanted your $5,000. Any closer to that today for the month?
No.
Okay.
But
So,
it's just Tuesday. It's
right.
just Tuesday.
So ask, who's in the way of this? Who's in the way of me crossing over the finish line? What energy that maybe I can't even see it? It is so habitual in nature, I don't even see it. What energy is sitting in the way of this? I love your conversations.
It's my inability to receive.
Okay. So ask your archetypes, who wants to jump on that grenade? Who's going to help remedy me? Who's going to help remedy this situation right now to help me understand energetically, physically, go back to any avatar of the past to break the cycle of receiving?
Well, my warrior's volunteering, but he says there's somebody better.
Okay. Is it somebody new that you've got to bring into the energy field?
It is.
Okay. Ask him who. Ask him to bring them forth immediately.
Okay, I don't know. I don't have the right word for this representation.
Okay. Ask your queen. Is it the most powerful, positive representation that you need to help you to serve you in this moment?
Yes.
Okay. Does she know how to engage with that energy so that she can help you break the cycle of non-receiving?
No, that's a task for my magician.
Okay. So can your magician come forth and help you understand? Is there an exchange that needs to happen? Is it a replacement? Could you imagine if there was this big ball of components, and somewhere in that ball of connections and components and circuit boards and circuitry is the part that's running the program of non-receiving? Can we pull that non-receiving and plug in the receiving? Ask them what does that look like? That's Sean's version of it. What would Heather's version of that need to be? Is it vials of chemicals, of brain chemicals, and you're going to pull out the non-receiving and drop in the receiving one that it connects and reprograms and needs a reboot in the system to now run the program of receiving? What does a magician say?
It's pulling a weed.
Okay. Does the weed have a big root?
It's pulling weeds.
Okay, so pulling weeds.
Pulling weeds.
Is there a way to pull the weeds to make sure they don't come back?
Oh my gosh. Yes, but I have to till everything up.
Okay. So is it a garden? Is it a flower bed? What's this area?
It's a garden.
It's a garden.
Mm-hmm.
So were there any plants in it that were growing? That got
Yes.
okay. So they're not able to be saved. They just all need to be tilled and replanted.
Yep.
Okay. So do you have rapid growing seeds so that you don't have to wait the standard 60 days? You only have to wait 3 days.
I'm getting some.
Okay. So who's going to help till it? Which of the archetypes can help till it?
I have a farmer archetype stepping forward.
Excellent. Can he get permission from the queen to use the royal fertilizer?
Yes.
Okay. Can he get permission from the lover to till with the music of love, the words of love? Have somebody there reading poetry over the garden, somebody playing Bach and Rachmaninoff on their violins. Is it okay if the lover gets approved for all of that?
Yes.
And are there any stones in the garden?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
So how long, ask the farmer archetype, how long he thinks it'll take to till it up and replant it?
He'll have it done in the morning. He'll have it done by morning.
Okay. Now, how do you feel?
I feel happy.
And this plot of land, this garden, can we designate that the receiving garden?
Yes.
So pick something that would be planted in that garden.
All I can see is the those money plants with those shiny little
Yes.
pods. That's
Okay. So in order for the seed, these super seeds, the royal seeds and the royal fertilizer and all of the love and everything else, in order for that seed to grow, what does it need to allow? So it's a seed, right? It's dormant. You're going to put it in the soil. What is the seed going to allow? Is it going to allow the dirt to help grow it?
The dirt, the sun, the water.
So the seed has to receive all of this.
Yes.
So hasn't the seed been lying, waiting to receive?
Yes.
Isn't that you now, the seed, been waiting, lying in wait to receive?
Yes.
And so now if the seed receives, and the soil is the best soil, and the fertilizer is the best fertilizer, and the water is the best water, and the sun is the best sun, and it drains and it soaks and it drains and it's the best of everything. How fast can this seed grow?
I'm told faster than I will believe.
And once a seed is planted, can it be left unattended?
No.
So can you give it 30 minutes a day? And can you give
Yes.
it another 10 minutes a day to talk to it and give it its rules and give it its suggestion? And you are a tomato plant. You are a money plant. You are a money plant. I love that you're a money plant. You're the brightest, shiniest money plant that ever has existed. And know that when you're talking to the seed, you're talking to who?
Me.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel?
Very tall, very strong.
Has that been a while?
Yeah. And I just see these money plants turning into humongous trees. I don't know how big they get, but in my garden they're huge.
So then you get to talk to the farmer archetype and ask him what he needs and let him give you suggestions on how to allow, right, the plants to receive the most energy. So you're already receiving because they're already tilling up the old non-receiving plant.
Yes.
I read somewhere yesterday, it was a Jim Rohn statement. It doesn't take any effort to grow weeds. Weeds grow naturally. It's planting the things we want that take effort. So when you send your messages of text, of gratitude, of joy, of thank you, that's watering and fertilizing and putting sun on your seed. And that's something that needs to be done every day. Who'd have thunk? That's the self-confidence for me.
It's beautiful.
What'd you learn? What'd you like?
Oh, we've highlighted once again how turning things around, spending 30 minutes a day, 40 minutes a day is not that long of an investment time wise. But what it can yield is tremendous.
How many tomatoes in a tomato seed?
Hundreds.
That's God's abundance. So tend to your garden. Give yourself some time to make sure your plants are watered and weeded, and let God do the rest. God needs us to plant the seeds, and then I haven't done a thing to grow any of the plants. He just says water them, keep them weed free, and I'll do the rest. I'll bring the sun, and I'll bring the miracle. So let the miracle happen. Say I receive.
Deal.
Say I receive it.
Oh, I receive it. I'm receiving. I'm a master receiver.
There you go. Of all of the little where you have PhD, you can put MR, and then somebody asks you, "What is MR?" Master receiver.
Master receiver. Yes. Oh, and I like that I have a farmer archetype. I like farmers. Yeah.
What's his name? If you asked him his name, what's his name?
I haven't asked his name. Yeah. His name's Grover. It's Grover.
And does he have a Mrs. Grover at home?
He does. Yes.
So let him know that he can plant if there's certain things that his missus would like to bake or cook or create. There's plenty of land there that he can use all of the royal ingredients as well.
Yeah.
That's playing it deep. That's building more abundance. Because now he's even more excited to till because he has a little piece that he can use for him and his family. Isn't that what your whole wellness business is about?
Absolutely.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So what you guys learn in this mastermind? Well, I have a farmer archetype. Say what, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? So there you go. Any last thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways? Okay.
Want an update?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yes.
Well, I didn't get on because I hadn't hit 100 yet,
It's all right.
but I did hit 100. I have data. I have lots to go, but it's a 30% return. 30%. It's really interesting. Those who just get the message and they take action, it's immediate. Boom, done. So there's I don't know how many there are right this minute. I guess I could probably see it when I got on, it was 32. But I sent over 100.
Okay.
And then 2 people, and one gal is a crazy sharer, and she just said, I just saw her today in a meeting too. She said, "Oh, I'm going to share this." I went, "Awesome, go for it." So anyway, we'll see. I'm going to keep at it. Now the number has gone from 100 to 300 because to get 100, I need to send out 300.
So who's Louise Cole's master key experience?
Oh, that's when I was working with Mark J.
Because you got 124 subscribers there.
Yeah. They didn't respond this time. Well, because that's a different
It's your channel. Isn't it your channel?
Well, then what have I been looking at?
I don't know. I mean, that's one of your channels. You also, so now you have Louise Cole with the headband on,
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
33 subscribers. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
That's the one that has the one that both Heather and Diane saw. That's the one.
Cool.
How many are there?
Now there's 34.
I couldn't decide whether
You need about
I
6 more videos up there.
yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Anyway, thanks for the challenge.
Yep. You still got till
It-
tomorrow night.
Oh, I do. I gave myself till tonight.
Well, that's okay.
I'm a little blurry-eyed.
Shooting for the stars.
And of my children, only one did it immediately. Go, Mom. I haven't even heard from the other ones. It's just so interesting. And so all these numbers that I've been hearing,
Mm-hmm.
watching it, it's all true. It's all absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and wasn't even able to, may I just have a brief, where did you all start? Because I couldn't find it and I don't have the same books as any of you, so.
All we did was review the formula. There's
Oh,
the questions on the self-confidence
the
formula.
self-confidence formula, that's exactly where I was.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll read it
That's what we
myself.
were. Well, we did that last time, but what we did was we went back into more detail in it because I said, because you're supposed to write it out.
Right.
How'd you feel when you wrote it out? And they're like, I didn't believe it when I wrote it out. So that's what today's was about, believing how you should write it.
I understand that extremely well.
Cool.
There's something that this challenge that I'm doing right now is really feeding my belief. It's kind of nuts because
It's feeding or feeding your belief?
feeding my belief,
And
and
is your belief good or your belief not good?
my belief is good.
Okay, good.
And there's a lot of, I don't care about the response. I only care about those who do respond.
Mhm.
It's just a completely different way of thinking. There's a switch. Anyway, I just really appreciate you guys so much.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways? All righty, my little law of success magicians, lovers, warriors, and queens and kings,
And farmers.
And farmers.
farmers and farmers. I have to go. I'm going to go sit on the porch and conjure up my farmer archetype. I'm going to conjure up my fence building archetype.
Ooh.
So I can build the fence for the sheep. But see how fast you learn stuff and this is always inside of us. That's the part when I was doing it with Michelle on the podcast. She was doing it, but wasn't doing it, but then started to do it and started to feel it. And so her queen, her sovereign, is Queen Catherine, which is her mom's name. Now, I never met her mom. She passed before I got to meet her. But I've seen enough of her and heard enough stories about her to know what she's like. And I said, so what's her move? And Michelle said, her back straightening to perfection. I said, what's her sound? That little, when somebody of authority goes, everybody goes, oh shit. Well, wait. Right? So it was interesting to watch Michelle identify and define and get access to her queen archetype. So I think it was very cool. So I'm glad this was fun. I'm glad we did this. All right, my archetypes, my sovereigns. I love you bunches. I'll see y'all where?
At the next event.
At the next event.
Yay! At the next track of land. All right, everybody. See you in the morning. Right tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody.
In the
Thank
morning.
Thank
Night.
you.
Good night.